Welcome to Jackrabbit Journal. Halfway through the Summer League basketball season now, and the Jackrabbit men are in the league lead, somewhat surprisingly, maybe at 6-2, and they are hosting Omaha on Wednesday night. The Rabbit women are in third place in the league right now, also a little bit surprisingly, with the Jacks hosting Oral Roberts on Thursday. That game will round out the first half of Summer League play for the women. We'll hear from AJ and Megan Watashik and Mariah Claren and Rachel Walters coming up in a little bit. But back to the men. Hottest team in the league right now, 6 wins in a row, won a blowout at home against Fort Wayne, got a big road win at Oral Roberts, and Cody Larson is playing like a man right now. He is the Summer League Player of the Week, and Coach Nagy wants Larson to be more unselfish by being more selfish. Cody Larson is a beast right now, a high-scoring Hulk who is hard to stop when he gets going on the edge and lives on the line between anger and control.
There's a happy medium there for him. But, we want him to be aggressive. We want because he generally doesn't run over people. Sometimes the center, if they're very aggressive, they'll run over the top of people. And Cody's has very good body control, very good passer. We've already mentioned that. And so we want him to be ultra aggressive. I want him. What I tell him is I want him to be more selfish. But in reality, it's being less selfish because it's helping our basketball team. And sometimes my opinion is he overpasses. And I think that what I'm trying to convince him of is that's being selfish, overpassing, because you're trying to relieve some of the pressure on you, and I want the pressure on you. I want you to score because it makes our team better.
That's a lot of psychology going on there, man.
Well, I always say a coach, if you're going to coach, you should either major in psychology or counseling because that's basically all you do.
Dr. Nagy has them feeling good right now. A 4-point win at Oral Roberts on Saturday is the latest in a 6-game win streak. Larson goes for a career-high 27 points and adds 12 rebounds.
It didn't start the way we wanted to, which has been, indicative of a lot of our games to this point. Defensively, we weren't very good, probably the first 5 minutes. And then we got pretty good. Cody had a horrible start. I think he was 0 for 5 to start the game with some easy shots. Then we took him out. He got himself settled down, and then he played great after that. I don't know if he maybe missed one more shot after that, but he got 12 rebounds, which was big for us. He played good defense. And they continued to play him one-on-one in there, so we went to him as much as we could.
Larson shot it 16 times, 7 more than anybody else on the team. But again, being unselfish by being selfish, taking it on himself instead of pushing it off on somebody else. Larson also led the team in assists with a grand total of 2. And this is something the Jacks have basically overcome in the last month. Fewer assists than turnovers. They had 6 assists and 12 turnovers against Oral Roberts. SDSU has 90 assists and 92 turnovers in the Summit League game so far. But that is one negative ratio that has not been a big concern to this point and can sort of be explained.
My assistant gave me a stat the other day that we're in the top 10 in the country over the last decade in turnovers per game for our basketball team, which is obviously good. That's one of the things we focus on is not turning the basketball over. We're about 10 a game, which is pretty good for a basketball team. So, teams that win generally have more assists. Now, we dribble a little bit more with this basketball team, play a little more one-on-one, and so there are probably a few less assists out there. And so I don't worry too much about that, but I do know that when I look at teams that win, they almost always have more assists than turnovers.
They also lock it down on defense. The Jacks held Oral Roberts to 41% shooting, and SDSU continues to lead the Summit League in field goal percentage defense. The Jacks also lead the league in defensive points per game, giving up just under 62 per outing, which is great and pretty amazing given the way they play, but it is not the only number that Nagy looks to gauge how well his defense is playing.
Our main focus is points per possession. And you can get to low points per possession several different ways. You could force a lot of turnovers. Generally, teams that do that are going to give up a little bit higher field goal percentage because they gamble a little bit more. But they get more stops because of the turnovers. We don't turn people over a lot, and so we have to do it by field goal percentage. And so that's generally our focus, and just trying to keep people away from the basket, making them shoot contested jump shots. We're not generally when people lead the league or nation or whatever in points per game, it's because of the pace they play at offensively, and we don't want to play slow. We try to play fast, and so it's a little bit of a miracle that we would play at the speed we play, and still we're giving up the fewest points per game.
Well, these are the defensive points per possession numbers that Coach Nagy and a lot of coaches keep an eye on. Anything really under 1 is considered very good. Kentucky is incredible with the defense they play. Wisconsin, another team built on D. South Dakota State is the lowest among the Summit League teams right now, 129th out of the 351 teams. And as Coach said, just gives you a more precise measure of defense compared to the raw number of points per game that you are giving up. And the Jackrabbits really doing very well on both counts right now on the men's side. Well, up next, the Jackrabbit women, their longest win streak in the Summer League so far is 1 game. Their longest losing streak is 1 game. What do they need to do to get on a run now?
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionauto.com.
Well, the Jackrabbit women's basketball team, they've had a tough schedule so far this year. 12 of their 20 games on the road so far, including 5 of their first 7 Summit League games. But it starts to turn a little bit now. 6 of the next 9 games at home, and the Jacks did not have a game this past weekend, so they actually took a couple of days off.
I'm not sure what the team did, but I was off, so I don't know if they were in practicing. No, they were all off. I think a lot of them went home and spent some time with family and friends. A couple of them I know stuck around and didn't do much, and we really asked them to stay out of the gym, stay away from any kind of activity. It is so rare to get a weekend in January. We have nothing to do and nothing coming up right away this week. So we tried to take advantage of it with some relaxing time, which was good for coaches, staff. We've been on the road a lot. People forget 5 out of 7 so far have been on the road, so have a little downtime was good.
Well, the one game the Jacks did have on the schedule was at Western Illinois, the highest scoring team in the Summit League. But the Jacks held the Leathernecks to 20 points below their season average in a 74-61 win.
They missed some shots at the free throw line and just in general, so that helped a little bit. But I thought our defense was really active. We tried to really run them off the three-point line. So even a lot of their threes weren't just penetrate, kick out, open three. We had somebody running at a player. They had to drive again, kick it again, drive again, kick it. So second and third chances are a lot harder to make than that easy first pass. So I thought we were really active. We flew at a lot of shooters rather than just closing out short and letting them go up with it. We're just really aggressive. So I was pleased with how we did defensively, except putting them on the free throw line as much as we did. We were fortunate they didn't make a lot of free throws. And that's a second game in a row where we fouled too much, USD and then Western Illinois. And I think throughout the year you always have ups and downs in certain areas. We're better than that, and I think we'll be better than that in terms of fouling and not fouling going forward.
China Stevens and Mariah Claren and Carrie Young all ended up with 4 fouls in the game, and Western Illinois shot 25 free throws but made just 13 of them. AJ says that when the Jacks took away the three-point line, the Leathernecks started to get to the basket on the dribble, so SDSU threw a little zone defense in the second half to stop that. And the Jacks ended up playing pretty much straight up against Ashley Luke, the Summit League preseason player of the year.
That's what makes them very, very difficult. Everybody on the floor can shoot the ball. They all seem to pass the ball well. They can all get to the basket. And then when you take a really good post player and put her down low, it's kind of like what our men's team has going on right now. Cody Larson, he's just so good. It forces teams to think about him. And I've always felt really good post players who can pass and score are absolutely the hardest thing to guard because you have to guard in and out. And that's what Western has going. So I was pleased, really pleased with holding them to any number in the 60s, which we got done.
Megan Watashik had 22 points and 11 rebounds in her return from a one-game absence due to illness. Macy Miller had 20, 5th time this year that she has had at least that. And freshman Ellie Thompson added 8 points and 6 rebounds in 15 minutes off the bench.
Ellie's really sneaky good. You know, we keep putting her out there, and after games, as coaches, we look at it and think, we need Ellie to do this, this, and this. And we look at the stats, and she's almost near a double-double. And that's kind of how she plays. She just knows how to get things done. I think she's like Macy in that sense. Macy had 20 points again against Western, but it was quiet. She only took 11 shots, makes her free throws. Nothing she does makes you think she's just trying to score. And same with Ellie. She just knows how to naturally play within an offense, knows how to pass, knows how to position herself for rebounds. We need to have more confidence in Ellie. We need her to play more because she's one of those players that just gets things done.
Thompson is one of 6 freshmen and sophomores who are playing a big part this season for the Jacks, and we will see what this young group can get done in the next 5 weeks. AJ says there is still a lot more left to get out of all of them.
Young players have no idea how hard they can play. They think they do, but they don't know that there's another level that they can get to. And we can help with that as coaches. The atmosphere can help with that. But the number one thing that helps people push through that threshold is experience. Megan Watashik, when you watch her right now, people would say, boy, she plays hard. Makes some mistakes, but plays hard. She didn't play that hard when she was a freshman. And nobody does. It takes time to learn that your body can give a little bit more. And then when you factor in the ability to anticipate things and start to read sets and here's what's going to happen before it does, then that's when you can be great defensively. So I think that's where our youth hurts us. A little bit of effort at times and then just that experience.
All right, more from Coach later on facing Oral Roberts this week and how the next 2 weeks are going to make or break a lot of teams. But more from the Rabbit women themselves when we come back. Walters and Claren and Watashik on what has been kind of a different season so far for the Jacks.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by BillionAuto.com.
We'll admit it, we have taken the Jackrabbit women's basketball team for granted. We are so used to seeing them fly through the Summer League season and make it look easy for the most part. So to see them right now with 3 losses in the league, less than halfway through the schedule, is a bit strange. But no worries. Here's David Brown with some of the SDSU seniors.
Picked as the preseason favorites in the Summit League, the SDSU women have been dealing with some unfavorable results early in the conference season. For the first time since the 2010-2011 campaign, the Jacks have 3 regular season Summit League losses.
It's been difficult, but we just have learned to bounce back and get better every day at practice and really pinpoint after every loss what we have to get better at and just really focus on getting better every day.
Game by game, we just look back and we find things that we can get better at and work on, and we can't always just dwell on the past and how we played in a game. So we're just moving forward and getting better every day in practice.
Practice aside, the Jacks are also dealing with injuries that sideline seniors Gabby Bover and Megan Stewart for the season.
We have a lot of underclassmen on this year's team. We have 5 seniors, but 2 of them are injured, so we have 3 seniors on the court and then 1 junior. So we've really had to step up our leadership and just pull the younger players along.
We have a lot of underclassmen this year, so that's been a little bit different. But overall, I just feel like our team's been really close and working well together.
The Jacks certainly worked well against Western Illinois last week, pulling away late for a double-digit road victory in Macomb.
It felt good to get a win on the road and to just get our momentum going for this next home stretch. And we just really played really good defense, and our post players really stepped up on Luke, and it was just a good team win.
It was definitely a much-needed win. It was against a really good team. They've got Ashley Luke. She's really talented. So I would say it was a very needed win.
Now, despite the recent string of ups and downs, Claren is one of the senior leaders who believes the makeup of this year's group can handle any sort of adversity.
Just personality-wise, we're really laid back and maybe unemotional. So I don't know, we're just very even-keeled as far as personalities.
Up next, back to the men, and a former Badger sits down and tells all. George Marshall in the Rabbit Fire interview coming up.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by BillionAuto.com.
George Marshall knows about expectations and what a burden they can be for a young man who just wants to play some basketball. He was a starter at Wisconsin as a redshirt freshman, got hurt, lost his spot, transferred to South Dakota State. He had to sit out for a year and then made his Jackrabbit debut in December. And for the most part, he has really held up to the hype. He is really good, and he is in this week's Rabbit Fire interview with David Brown.
All right, you're from Chicago. What's your favorite part of Chi-Town?
I would say probably where I'm from, the south side of Chicago, in the city. But I also like to visit downtown, one of the greatest places in the world. So I just love all parts of Chicago. I got a lot of pride for my city. So I would say the south side of Chicago.
So being Southside White Sox fan?
I'm not really a baseball fan, but if I were to pick between the Sox and the Cubs, I would say the Sox.
All right, we asked favorite part of Chicago. What's your favorite part of Brookings?
Probably on campus. It's a small town, so there isn't many places to go, so I would say right here in this gym.
What's the best nickname you've ever had?
I haven't had many nicknames. You know, a lot of people just call me G. So I would say that's the most common nickname I've had so far.
You like it? Works for you?
Yeah, it works.
Who is the smelliest teammate?
I would probably have to go with Ian Tyson.
And why is that?
He's not only the smelliest, but he just have weird odors. Like, he just doesn't smell bad, but he just smells weird sometimes.
Just not familiar to you?
Yeah.
What is in your short time here, what is your favorite Scott Nagy story? A funny story, a stupid story, anything involving Coach?
I would say I don't really have a story that sticks out, but you know, sometimes, you know, when he's yelling at us, you know, he's just going crazy on the sideline. I would say that's probably one of the funniest moments.
Do you laugh it off, or are you worried because he's going berserk?
Well, you just have to take, you know, the message of what he's saying. You know, you can't take it personal. Just take the message that he's trying to come across with and, you know, move on.
All right, since this is a family TV show, keep this family appropriate, but what's the best practical joke you played on someone? Or that's been played on you?
Well, I would say the one that's been played on me, back at home, you know, we all live together, me, Jake Biddle, DeAndre Parks, and Cody. So they all got together. Jake bought a Halloween mask, and, you know, they all brought me upstairs to the dark, to our door, and they were saying someone was outside the house, and, you know, Jake popped up out of nowhere with the mask on, and no, I was a little scared for a few seconds, but I would say that's probably the biggest prank that's been played on me.
What is your favorite TV show?
I'd probably say Family Guy, but, you know, I watch a lot of TV shows just in general, so I would say probably like Breaking Bad or Sons of Anarchy.
Why are you number 11?
I wore it my whole life. In high school, I was number 11. I actually wore number 3 at Wisconsin, but, you know, I wanted to bring back, you know, other memories, so I chose to go with number 11 again, since I wore it pretty much my whole life.
Is there a reason you initially chose it in high school, or did you just like the way it looked, or?
I actually don't know why I chose number 11. I guess I just like the way it looked.
All right, and then the last question, who would win a horse contest between everyone on the team? And you can say yourself if you feel like you're the best.
Yeah, I would have to go with myself. I think Anders Broman may give me a run for money. So.
But no doubt yourself.
Yeah.
All right, George Marshall, thanks a lot.
When we come back on the Journal, a look at the week ahead for the Jackrabbits, Coach Nagy on the one thing that can hurt his team right now, and Coach Johnston on why the next 2 weeks are going to separate the women from the girls in the Summit League.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionato.com.
Well, we have the Jackrabbit men's game live on Midco Sports Network this Saturday afternoon. They take on Denver. It starts at 4:30. SDSU started the Summer League season in Denver with a loss to the Pioneers, but a lot has changed, mostly for the better for the Jackrabbits since then. Before they get to that game, though, the Jacks will play Omaha on Wednesday night. Jacks beat the Mavs by 19 in Omaha a couple of weeks ago, but the Mavs are a challenge because they play faster and furiouser than anybody else.
We tried to convince our guys last time about how fast they played, and I think in the first 3 or 4 minutes, you know, you can't simulate it in practice. Patterson is probably as fast point guard with the basketball as anybody I've ever coached against, and he puts a lot of pressure on the team. Their wings really get out and run, and the other thing they do probably better than everybody else, they want to get a quick shot, but when they miss, they rebound that ball. I mean, they chase it. They do a great job. I think they're number 1 in the league or number 2 in the league in offensive rebounding, and it's been a terrible stat for us. We put them on the free throw line over 40 times in their basketball game. We didn't rebound the basketball. We didn't rebound the basketball against Oral Roberts. It's the one thing, in my opinion, that will cost us games is our defensive rebounding in particular.
That could be true. The Jacks, though, do lead the league in defensive rebounds. They are 5th in defensive rebound percentage right now, so we'll see how it plays out against Omaha for the men on Wednesday. The Jackrabbit women, meanwhile, have gone win-loss, 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 win so far in Summit League play. They get back at it with 2 games this week, both of them at home, and if they want to get their first back-to-back league wins of the season, they have a chance to do it Thursday against Oral Roberts. The Eagles have a 6'7" center in Vicky McIntyre, who will make some things interesting.
Oral Roberts is a very different team. Their style offensively is different than what we would have seen in the past, and defensively. Having 6'7" inside, you can do a lot of things defensively, and you can be aggressive and try and take teams out of their rhythm. She rebounds. She's a hard person to defend on the other end. So they present some challenges, even though they're different. I think the next 2 weeks is going to be critical. No one's going to win a league race right now, but you're going to put yourself in position or you're going to take yourself out of position just because everything is so close. And all those teams are playing each other right now. It's not like there's any kind of off weeks for people. So it's really an important time for us right now. I wouldn't say we're in the home stretch by any means. I just think these next couple weeks are going to really determine if people have a chance or not, and obviously we want to be there. So we got to take advantage of 3 big home games and then give ourselves that shot.
Oral Roberts, North Dakota State, and Fort Wayne, those next 3 games. We will have that Fort Wayne game for the women live here on Midco on Sunday, February 8th. And got the men coming up against North Dakota State as well on Valentine's Day on the 14th. We'll see you next week.